Hello, Taurus. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, Taurus. So tonight, or this morning, it's actually morning. I always say night. I usually film at night. But it is early in the morning, actually. And we have the Hermit. Okay, so you are going hermit mode, maybe? I love it. I love it. This is the perfect time of year to just kind of, pack your fishing pole, get your shoes on, and head on out, right? Just kind of go and be out in the world, be out in those beautiful, quiet places. Or, I don't know, maybe you're somebody that's likes to get on the old video games or, scroll the internet and do it in peace and quiet or, I don't know. But when this energy comes around, it is a time for us to really disengage, right? Kind of gather our resources, realign ourselves. And to me, it's always a time of, conceiving new ideas, but also planning, right? All my best ideas are when I'm alone, when I'm just kind of hanging out. Well, like shower thoughts, right? Do you have shower thoughts? Do you and listen, please put them in the comments, but PG. This is like a super PG place. Okay. But yeah, shower thought. I always have my best thoughts. And I do my best magic in there as well. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to turn this bowl, and I'm so happy to have you here. I want you to know that. Things have just been wild over here. My daughter got out of school, and summer has begun, and so I've been readjusting to our new routine, and I know a lot of us, even those in the southern hemisphere, you're going into winter. Oh my goodness. But a lot of us readjusting to our new schedules and, just the new vibes of the season and so on and so forth. But I love seeing you. Now, we have, it looks like, a cat, a smaller cat, maybe a baby, like the baby cat here, mama or papa cat. And then we have another cat over here who feels kind of outside because they're facing one another versus all moving this way. Feels like an outsider. Maybe somebody, a friend or somebody you're dating, or maybe this is like your adult child who is dating somebody new and bringing somebody into the family. But it does feel like there is this almost like a courtship happening. Now, I don't know that it's actually romantic for you. I feel that maybe this is you're getting to know somebody who is possibly going to be part of the greater family unit, right? So I also feel that you are a family that is quite independent. Each of you, right? You're very much your own people. You're not necessarily, not that you're not close, but you're not highly involved in each other's day-to-day life, right? Maybe you talk often, you are close, you enjoy one another, but you have things going on, right? You're not living, every moment of your life hoping to be doing something for your kids. You have your own things going on, right? And I think that usually can happen, right? As we get older, when your kids don't need you 24/7. And so maybe this is a place where there is a sense of excitement, but also kind of maybe a little bit of, grief for how things used to be, because I feel this intense pride about being a caregiver, a parent, somebody who, has always been there for those in your family that you're responsible for, or that you want to be supportive of, nephews, nieces, so on, so forth, right? So I do feel like this is a little bit of a bittersweet time, but also might be part of what's prompting that hermit energy. Maybe it's like the kids are going off to school or getting married, or, whatever it is. They've solidified their relationship. They're married. And now the grandkids are showing up, this real solid indicator that life has changed. We're in the next part of life, right? And, all of this can be a lot. It can be a lot. Even, I talk about this often, and I don't know that everybody feels this way, or has ever felt this way. But, for me, even some of the most happy transitions in my life, that changes in my life, I find myself quite sad about. Like last year when we were moving, I knew we needed a bigger place. We needed somewhere where we could have studios. And I'm saying we, like, exactly who I'm talking about. My husband over at Dove and Serpent Tarot, his name is Paul, and he's amazing. He's fantastic. He's wonderful. Go check him out if you have not seen his readings. And if you have, and there, chances are you have. He has a pretty big channel, and yeah, he's pretty magnetic. So if you have or haven't checked him out, go check out some more of his readings. But anyways, we needed, studios where we live. And we're definitely not the types that, like, I don't want to get dressed and have to go somewhere. I'm a homebody. If I can be home all the time, I would be. But so we did. But, in that moving, it was a joyous event. Wonderful. And I feel very privileged, very honored, very, so much gratitude to the universe, to all of you, and, and to my family. But still, I felt grief. I liked where we were before, and life was changing and things were different, and my daughter was getting older, and, all these things. And it can feel bittersweet. And I think that's kind of where you're at, and so I am looking at, in the middle, we have, it looks like a dolphin and a fish. So I do feel that you are somebody at the very core that is quite psychic, right? You are probably somebody who partakes in some kind of spiritual, magical, or religious work. You are not just out here, sometimes I feel connected to the universe, or sometimes, I think about my religious affiliations or practices or whatever. No, you are somebody that day in and day out, this is what you live and breathe. And now with the fish in there, I believe that you either work within the spiritual or religious community, maybe divination as well. You could be like a tarot reader or something. But it does. It feels like it is a big part of how you make your money. Now, you might be going into starting a business. Maybe it's something like healing, Reiki, or energy healing. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you are somebody that is, like casting charts, or, I don't know, some profession within this umbrella of spiritual work. or it is key in the work that you do. It's something that you have to kind of keep up, like the practice of your intuition, so that you may anticipate. You can read the patterns and see how things are going to be shifting and changing and so on and so forth. But I do see this being an opportunity coming up. And I feel I feel that you have maybe a partner or a spouse, a significant other that maybe people don't like. And I'm looking at this person riding on this animal here. We have the chicken being fed right up here, but it almost feels like feeding the alarm or feeding the need for alarm. And I think I feel like that might be what this is. This is where this little disconnect is. You're in this like position of closeness with the family. And I feel like you've always had a good rapport, and you're all, like I said, independent people, but I do feel like maybe you have married somebody, maybe you were divorced and you had years where you were maybe alone. Maybe you've met somebody they just don't like for some reason. Maybe they're very different, but I feel that there's almost this sense of animosity that is brewing. But maybe it's even a friend, or I feel like it makes you feel increasingly disconnected from everybody, really. But I think that at the same time, you take things in stride. You're not going to let this, be the bane of your existence. But I think that you are coming to a point where you're going to have to make a decision about, how am I going to deal with this? And maybe it does. It comes down to, I just have to be very clear. This is who I roll with. And yet, I'm part of this tribe. I'm part of this collective of people that love each other. We are, each other's family, people, net, right? And so we have to get with things. We have to be more accepting of one another. And maybe that's where we're seeing things kind of mirrored. And maybe having, an adult child meet somebody they're very serious about. Maybe you don't feel 100% about this person, but now you're starting to see okay, this is how this feels. Okay. We also have the number 66. And we have, for some reason, something to do with a clown. And then maybe I'm thinking like a fair, a circus, like a carnival. I keep thinking of a parking lot carnival, if you have those where you're at. But something about that, I don't know. Maybe you're going to find yourself in a place like this, but I'm just hearing laughing. This is a fun experience, and I don't know why I'm being shown this particular thing. We also have the number the number 13. Ooh, I'm just bumping everything. I need a little sip of water here. My goodness. I'm getting used to recording in the mornings again. I'm so excited. Last summer, I loved getting up super early and working. And my husband has been the one working in the morning, most mornings now. And I'm so happy to wake up and be like, oh, my turn. Let me get my stuff done now. We also have the letters AC. AC, maybe that's a name. And something about bicycling. Bicycling right up here. Oh, you can't even see. Here, AC right there. And then we have bicycling right here. Okay, we have a person on a bike and you can see the tires. Okay, so I feel like there's these things going on. It doesn't feel super big. Like, oh, this is like some, earth shattering thing happening. But I also just feel like you've been emotionally stimulated for a while now. And as things start to settle out, you're just kind of like, I'm putting my foot down and also I'm taking a break. That's where the vibes are for me. Like I'm tired of there being like any room here for somebody to feel like they can say some things about, like my relationship or how I'm living or, what I'm doing with my time or whatever it is, right? And especially if this does turn out to be like, these are your kids or a kid and you're, feeling like they should be continually on you about whoever you're with, I guess. But I don't even think it's really that. I just feel like it's just this kind of unsaid, like, ugh, oh, dad and his new wife are coming, ugh, and or whoever. And I feel like for you, it's just kind of like, okay, can we just kind of like move on from this now? But I ultimately feel like things are coming together. And it is. And I think it just comes down to like there was this idea that there was space for this kind of energy. And look, there's not. So let's get it out of here. Let's move on, right? Let's stop wasting our time. We only have so much to be together. Okay, and then we have the word yes, okay, Y-E-S. So I do wonder if somebody is maybe being proposed to. If it's you, if it's one of your kids or somebody in the family, it seems like this is the time, right? There is something about this season where people get linked up. So we have the yes. But I do feel like there are maybe some things that are going to have to get worked out before everything kind of goes as planned. We have the duck here, and the duck to me often represents this feeling of like, if you've ever seen a duck out there on a lake when the waters get choppy, when, things are like, oh my gosh, it's getting kind of wild out there. And then you see this duck and it's just riding the waves like it's nothing, just out there swimming on through, bobbing around. And that's what it feels like. We're going to get through this. We're going to get things worked out. We're not going to let it pull us under. We just got to communicate, right? Get realigned with one another. And yeah, and I see you like really navigating this in a way. And this is actually where I think the big energy is all about. Even though, yes, the relationships, the potential engagement, all these things, very exciting. But what's most exciting is your reaction to all of this, how you are getting through it. And that's where the self-evolution is very apparent. So please, please give yourself a little extra hug. Give yourself a little pat on the back when you see yourself not being super reactive, when you don't get angry, when you don't, well, maybe you get angry, maybe you get frustrated, maybe you get annoyed, but it's about how you react, how you let that be expressed. And I feel like for you, you've really been working on how you talk to people, how you treat people, how you talk to yourself, how you treat yourself. And so I see this as being really at the core of this reading. What it's all about is that you are making these strides forward. And even if it does feel uncomfortable, and even if, I got a little angry. Yeah, I raised my voice a little bit, but it didn't devolve. It didn't turn into this big war between, me and my beloved ones, right? Going back and forth, back and forth. And that is a win. I mean, to me, it really is. I am, I'm a Virgo. I'm also a very reactive person for a variety of reasons. And I've really had to continue to raise myself and figure out how can I control my emotions sometimes when they do feel very big. And I will mention I am also neurodivergent, so that's part of it as well. But yeah, even as a 40-year-old lady, I still recognize there's so much room for work, and there probably will always be, and I know that about myself. So when I feel that I run into somebody else, or if I can sense that, through their language or their restraint or, trying to reframe things as they're communicating with me or, whatever it is. And you can see somebody processing, right? Whatever they're going through as they speak about it, as they communicate about it, as you just witness them over time. I am drawn to people who are doing work like this. And so when I see it in a reading, I'm like, oh yes, here we go. Wonderful. Thank you for being here because we need more of this. I am a deep believer that we heal the world and ourselves, or we heal the world and our collective. We raise the energies. And I know it sounds silly and new agey, but I really do, by working on ourselves, by raising our awareness, our, emotional, spiritual education. In that holistic work, it really does affect the greater whole. I don't know why, I don't know how, but it does. And I can tell you that with certainty. All right, let's see. 78. All right, 78 as our first. 47, 78, 47, and 75. All right. Now we'll do our wild bohemian affirmation cards. And I'm just going to flip through. Stop where it feels right. Okay, and number 13, I have come. I have come. Nourished your body with kind, generous thoughts. You are who you say you are. You are who you say you are. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, now we will finish with the Dreamer's deck. And just kind of flip through, stop where it feels right. And it says, I know that life is only limited by my imagination. I am dreaming bigger. I am dreaming bigger. All right. I love it. Oh, well, Taurus, I want you to know that I love you, and I thank you so much for being here with me today. It is such a privilege for me to be able to spend this time with you. Our time is very valuable, isn't it? And it goes by so quickly. So when I get to spend this time with you, I feel just beloved. Beloved unto you, and you beloved unto me. And so, thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead, or whenever you're watching this weekend. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Other than that, I just want to say again, I love you, I love you, I love you. We'll talk soon. Good night, good night.